Let's go. Uh-oh, the stove is lit. Let's cook it. Here we go. It's the stove with Tony Benz. Tony because my name is Anthony. Benz because that's short for Bennett. Better way because Jesus Christ is the better way. Let's go. And let me tell you how I do it on the show. It's the single topic of variety. Yo. Hey guys, before you vibe, do me a favor and hit subscribe. Cause people won't believe me that I got 1 million followers unless you hit me up online. So there, done. Conversation bar, son. Let me tell you where I'm transmitting from. Where you coming from, son? YouTube, TikTok, IG, Facebook, BandLab.
Who am I?
Let me go.
What's my name?
¿Cómo se llama?
Do you know who Calvin Brodus is? If you don't, then you've been under a rock for the past 25 to 30 years.
Get a late pass.
My name is praiseworthy,
Antonio
famous,
Roberto
blessed.
Bennett.
My government name is Anthony Robert Bennett. You know me as TonyBennzBettteWay. You know me as the Emeritus MC. Some people know me from back in the days as Spice Man, Lil Anthony, just straight up Tony, Tone Ice. I go by and have gone by so many names. TonyBennzBettteWay. I love that one. That's my favorite one. But Obi-Tony Kenobi.
This is the way.
Wise like a Jedi. My point is, what name do you go by? When Snoop actually said on his first single, "Who am I? What is my name? What's my name?" That was a declaration. He wasn't asking you who he was. He knew who he was. He knew who he is. And he wants you to know. So, psychologically speaking, it's a call and response.
PSA, go Google it. Go look it up. Find out if it's your purpose or your purpose is to fight it. Go look it up.
The reason why I'm talking about this is because a lot of times we let people call us out of our name and we let them call us what they want us to be called. We have to make a point about knowing who we are.
Who are you?
Whether it's knowing who you are in faith,
in God,
in Christ,
not
in your religion, in your group, we have to know who we are. Do you know
why you were named your name in the first place?
There are people whose names you have no idea because you only call them what you've been calling them. Do you have any idea who Abram is?
Abraham.
Or Zaphaneth.
Joseph.
Or Belteshazzar.
Daniel.
Hananiah.
Shadrach.
Mishael. Azariah. Jedediah.
Solomon.
Hadassah.
Esther.
It might sound a little bit more familiar if I say Simon.
Peter.
You might figure that one out. You might not even know the difference between Bartholomew and Nathaniel.
Disciple.
Do you know which lesser or older or younger James was which in the Bible?
Brother?
If I say traitor, do you know who I was talking?
Judas?
What if I say Jude or Thaddeus?
Disciple?
Matthew? Levi?
Disciple.
Listen, people go by what's in their heart. When you are called something, it's your choice to answer it. I know plenty of people's parents have told them, listen, do not let anybody call you out your name. You go by what you want to go by. Sometimes we can't run away from it. As soon as some people acknowledge your greatest failure in life, they'll call you that. They'll call you loser. They'll acknowledge your famous victory in life. They'll call you that. And you'll always be known as a victor and a winner. So it's up to you. Do you want to be typecast in a good way or a bad way? Do you want to set your own moniker?
I'm Rick James.
Jesus has been given the title name above all names. He has so many names in the doctrine of Christianity, from Emmanuel to faithful and true. Go check that out in Luke. He will be great, and he will be called the Son of the Most High.
The door.
What's being written about you? What's being said about you? Are you setting the tone for who you are?
They'll know you by your
Don't let no one call you out of your name.
Love.
What name are you answering to?
King.
When you want to reinvent your life, is there a new name and a new you?
Friend. Mentor.
Are you the new name, same person, vice versa?
Airman in the army of the Lord.
If you have a name, do you use it
New name
or lose it? If you want to go by something, you can either correct someone or introduce yourself with a firm handshake and some bass in your voice and tell people who you are.
Head, not the tail.
What about name calling? Do you let people call you a name? I remember back in the day, they used to say stuff like African booty scratcher, and it was funny. Until we were educated, we realized that was an insult
Indian
to our
giver.
people and our culture.
Retarded.
So we stopped that name call.
Bum.
Even to this day,
Wino.
I believe people have taken that to a whole nother level where everything is offensive, and it's OD right now. It's 1,000% right now. Sometimes it's worth something, and sometimes it's not.
They don't change Christian names.
Shame calling.
They still be
You know,
calling us out.
calling somebody a sissy when I was growing up was not saying that that person was a girl. It was saying that person was should have been a little bit more aggressive than what they were being at the time. And that's for boys and girls, calling somebody a sissy. And you know what? There are some people that actually like being called sissy. So who were we to really say that that was wrong? You know, it's like talking about that trigger word, that N-I-G-G-E-R or that N-I-G-G-A. However you want to call it, however you want to reclaim it.
Negroes.
If you answer by that name,
Africans.
then you're acknowledging that.
The niggas.
People have monikers and pseudonyms and aliases and titles. It's up to you, the individual, to acknowledge that and call that. Do you know who Yasin Bey is? He refuses to acknowledge someone who calls him most deaf unless he knows who it is. Somebody he's familiar with, he's cool with. I'm a frequent listener of the People's Party podcast with Talib Kweli. The fact that the dude came out with his name Talib Kweli tells me a whole lot about him.
Controls his own narrative.
Like I said, my name
Is what?
is Anthony Robert Bennett.
Tell him.
Quick story about that is Anthony, my mother named me after Tony Bennett. My last name is Bennett. The Robert, my grandfather on my father's side passed away when I was probably around 10 or 11. They believed that I was too young to really go to the funeral. This is my understanding anyway. And I missed the funeral. Didn't even know he died. So maybe they wanted to spare my little heart. But that's my grandfather. I don't even remember a lot about him anymore, but I remember how much I love him.
Love you, granddad, grandma.
Fast forward, my birth certificate was lost. And when I finally went to get my name put on my birth certificate, I said, put Anthony Robert Bennett on there with the correct birth date. So they put an incorrect birth date,
August 20th.
which I'm going to take to this day.
I'm gonna stick with it.
But they left off the name Robert.
Shout out to King.
To me, whenever somebody asks me who I am,
Birthday
my
Tony.
name is Anthony Robert Bennett. I go by Tony. Depending on who I'm talking to, I go by TONYBENNZBETTERWAY. I used to be called Shirt, as in first sergeant.
Air Force, let's go.
I was called a rapper.
Spitting bars.
I can answer by any title or name that I want because that's what I choose.
You ain't call
And
me
I
out
will
my name.
purposely not correct, but I will, I guess, change the narrative of the conversation I'm having if I don't like
What you call me?
or don't appreciate
What you talking about,
or
Wilson?
want to be acknowledged in a certain way.
You know my name.
I don't allow people to call me Anthony.
No disrespect.
Let me correct that. I don't allow everyone to call me Anthony because when I hear Anthony, I hear my sweet maternal grandmother,
Granny.
and I hear my sweet paternal grandmother and my mother, Carolyn Faye, Mama Faye Bennett.
Rest in power and peace.
I only want to
Love
hear
you, Mom.
people say my name that sound as if they were my elder. That if I needed something, I can call, speak to them, get a hug, and get the love that I missed from my mother and my grandmother, and my Uncle Larry.
Uncle Larry.
Right?
No
So
danger.
I won't correct them. I've said this before, I won't use honesty and truth and directness as a method to be rude, but I'll definitely say no. I go by Tony.
Nothing but love.
You know, Obi Tony Kenobi and wise like a Jedi. Depending on what it is, depending on the circumstance, I was called good cop once.
Security forces.
I was called, you know, in my younger rap days, I was called knowledge head, mod sober. That's when I was acting like I was a dancehall artist. People call me Anthony. Again, I only let certain people call me that too.
Nah, man.
I had an ex-girlfriend who called me Tender Tony. I was like, okay, you did a remix of Bobby Brown. Don't ever do that again. But you know, people have called me Antoine and Anton just to be funny. It's interesting. I have
Jokey jokes.
People from my church, Morning Star Missionary Baptist Church in Tucson, Arizona. There are people called names in there, and they had worthy titles. There was a man named Mr. Hoffler. They called him Top Sarge because he was always on post. My pastor's best friend, they call her Road Dog. My pastor's name is Ed Stanley, but they call him the tall guy.
Ed Stanley.
Most people call him Pastor, obviously. My pastor, his wife, Pastor Melissa, we call her Alyssa, or Pastor Alyssa. My wife, that's Sweetheart. That's Bae. You know why I call her Bae? She's the best at everything. Anyway, before I turn this into a love letter, know who you are.
Who are you?
Know your name.
What's your
Don't
name?
be called out of your name.
Don't.
Whether it's your government name or whether it's the name that you have given yourself.
What your name is?
Know the definition of the name.
Figure it out.
And who you are.
Go research.
In Luke 1:32,
Figure out who you are.
it says, he will be great and will be called the Son of the Most High. It also says, so the Holy One to be born will be called the Son of God. Even John the Baptist, his father was supposed to call him Zechariah Jr. because his father was named Zechariah. But no, God intervened and told him his name will be John. You find that in Luke 1:59. My whole point is, if you find out what your name is, know what you're living with or know what you're fighting against.
Okay, I got an exercise for you. I need you to pause this show right now, go look up the name and the meaning of your name, and come back. I got an exercise for you. Whenever you hear a space, say your name and remember your meaning. Let's go.
Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come into his presence with singing. Know that the Lord, he is God. It is he who made us, and we are his. We are his people and the sheep of his pastures. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and bless his name. For the Lord is good. His steadfast love endures forever, and his faithfulness to all of the generations. Peace and power from me. It's the Stove, the single topic of variety, with your host, praiseworthy,
Anthony,
famous,
Robert,
and blessed,
Bennett.
Anthony Robert Bennett. TonyBennzBettteWay. Let's go.
The stove is lit. Let's cook it.